Yo, it just cut out. So, Daily B show with Sammy Lewis. This will be part two. I'll edit them together. I don't know why it does this. It just does from time to time. So, wait for everyone to jump back on. Yo, yo, yo. Hello, everybody. Thanks for jumping back on. Hey, Ellie. Yeah, this happens sometimes. Wait for Sam to come back. If you guys have any questions, please let me know because I am all ears. What? Thanks for jumping on, guys. Beautiful. Good to see you. All right, get Sammy back on. Good to see everyone jumping back on. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, please ask. Be interested to see. I know there was a few, and I was going to go back and revisit the ones you already asked. I did see a few come through. How you going, Sam? You jump. Oh, I know it didn't work, Sam. For some reason, you want to jump out and jump back in, and I'll re-add you. Oh, there we go. Scotty Telfer, how are you, brother? Krista, thanks, Krista. Valerie, good to see you guys. I wrote some questions. Yeah, I know, I saw them, Val. Adding. Jeanette, thanks. Hello. Full. What you having for dinner? I'm having spirituality for dinner. All right. Sorry, that was just Facebook just feeling like chucking me out and joining us back up again. So, halftime lunch break for everybody.
They don't like this chat. The powers that be.
They don't. I know, right? So a couple of things just on a tangent. One of them I wanted to ask was, who the fuck are we to have this conversation? And number two is, I want to get into some of the real boom. Say no more. Is some of the misconceptions that you do see, like, yeah, but we'll get into that. So first of all, who the fuck are we, and why should anyone listen to us? Well, they should. Well, I'll let you answer
that. No reason to listen. No reason to listen whatsoever. Essentially these are just more concepts, and we've gone a bit into it. But the reason personally I follow this spiritual concept is it draws a very clear line in the fucking sand, and I like an absolute. I like a clear line in the sand that makes sense to me. It's not woohoo unless you make it woohoo. There is God. And then everything else is just not real because it doesn't last forever, okay? And therefore it cannot be real. The conversation, I actually did a post today about truth, capital T truth, lowercase truth. And it's a funny thing. I mean, for me, truth is truth. It must be true. Like, I can't say that anything, but
can't just say that
to be true or what somebody else believes to be true. So, but it's, for what you believe to be truth and what I believe to be truth could be completely different. So truth can't be fucking truth. Do you get this? Yeah. So a lot of people are running around saying that, they believe in this sort of truth.
But others don't.
It's exactly. So therefore it's not truth. If it's not true, if it's not permanently true forever, it's not true. Let's just be real basic on this.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, what you're saying. Sorry, jump in. What you're saying is that that one presence, the thing that governs everything, the thing that is always there, which that law of creation and destruction is what comes of that, is this game that we're playing, which is the truth with the little t. So on this conscious realm where we're playing our games, going, buying the BMWs and starting our businesses and playing the game, that's the truth with the little t, where from our perspective, it's true. Like right now, I've got a water bottle, I'm going to have a drink, talking to Sammy Lewis. These are truths with little t in the game of life that I'm playing. but the truth with a capital T is the bigger picture, is the ocean compared to the wave. And if it's not that, well, then it's not the truth. It's just the little truth of the game.
Definitely, and that's exactly right.
Thanks,
I mean,
bro.
it's the question was, who are we to for you to listen to, and that's really the decision for yourself. And we talked about this earlier today, and it's a funny thing. But you asked me, I think, how do you get people that are sort of hesitant about these concepts to understand this? And all the words in the world are really not going to do it. And a Facebook Live is not going to do it unless you've had these kinds of experiences before. And my answer to your question is, how do you get people kind of across the line, or how do you get people to understand these concepts? Is, I said, sit with them, is go into meditation and take them into a place where there only is truth, where there only is the one. And it goes from becoming an intellectual knowledge to an embodied understanding and a knowing. And that's the only way that I really think this can be explained, because words just don't do it justice. And there's teachers out there that are a lot more eloquent than we are, definitely a lot more eloquent than we are at teaching this.
Yeah, and like you said, with the words, I mean, the first thing you learn in like neuro-linguistic programming when you're going through the personal development journey is that when we gather information through our mind, first thing we do is distill it, distort it, and generalize it. And then from there, then we get to repurpose it with our own language, which for us is the English language, which is a limited expression based on all the words that we know in our vocabulary. And so it's distilled yet again through that. And even those words that we project out, which is just a projection of what our experience was, then gets listened to and digested by someone. And their definitions of the words that they're picking up is another distilled version of what's coming out. So there's like 3, 4, 5 processes of what muddying the water before we even actually take on the information that someone delivers to us. So this whole mode of communication is a really primitive mode of communicating or activity in general. And when we're talking about these stuff, that's all it is. It's just fluff. And like you said, as a part of the game, it's just speaking about the rules of the game. And you can take that horse of water, but yeah, got to drink it on their own.
Exactly. And I mean, what you say on that, I mean, Valerie's putting in a lot of questions around enlightenment. But in the English language, so you're right, we've got one word for enlightenment. And it's like, you have a look at the Sanskrit language, okay, and there's different levels of samadhi, and there's whole different words around, whether you're fully absorbed. There's a whole different language developed around spirituality. And these sort of concepts, that when we remove it to the English language, like ego's the classic one. We've taken the word jiva, which means anything that is not permanent and present, therefore the game, okay, and we've turned that into ego. And now it's egotistical if you, I don't know, have a nice watch or whatever it may be, or drive a BMW or whatever it may be. So we've kind of, you're right, the semantics and the words, they just don't work. They don't justify where we're trying to go with this.
Yeah. One of the questions that got brought up in one of the chats earlier today by Aaron Sager was, what makes one truth? Is there one truth truer than the other truth?
Yeah. He's just being a smartass, but I know Aaron very well, but he's just being a smartass because he understands these concepts. But basically, but one's true and one's not. One is like ultimately true, like fucking like black, true, like, and the other one's like fucking grey. Okay, so it just is what it is. I mean, one's always going to be true. It doesn't change on perception. Okay, and the other one is not true. It's just somebody's fucking idea of their perception of truth, if that makes sense.
And there are a lot of people that are still seeking enlightenment. They are still seeking even just fulfillment in life, and to accept themselves, or to love themselves or to be okay with themselves. And there's people that are facing a lot of anxieties and depressions and overwhelm and confusion, uncertainty. How does this tie into them, and what do you say to these people, and how do you speak on this as far as where these people are at, and why should they at least start this journey of self-inquiry?
Who's feeling this?
You asking me? Well,
I'll explain.
All right.
Who is feeling this depression, this anxiety, this whatever it may be, and
okay, so
is that real?
Yeah, so I was gonna say, if I'm coming at you saying I'm anxious right now, you say, who's feeling this? And I say, well, I'm feeling this.
Depending on your understanding of this, I also do some personal development coaching and men's work. You obviously don't say that to everyone, but if you've got a good understanding and you've got an understanding of the absolute of God, and you've experienced a glimpse of it, then yes, it is as simple as that. It's well, who is experiencing it? Are you? Is this really you that's experiencing it, or is this just your skin suit, and is this just the little wave that's flaring up in the ocean, or is this the ocean that's experiencing it?
All right, that's
I mean?
for people that that are there though. What about the people that don't have that connection or haven't had the experience of the bigger picture?
How
do you speak of them?
How do I personally? I try to explain these concepts. I try to explain these concepts to them and get them to a stage where they understand. And I mean, an easy way to explain it is, it's like what you're feeling now is, chances are you won't be feeling that same emotion in 12 months' time. I mean, that's a great way to explain the concept of this, that it's not real. You make, it's like the classic thing, your high school girlfriend or boyfriend breaks up with you, and sometimes it takes a week, sometimes it takes a month, sometimes it takes longer, but chances are in 12 months' time, you're not going to be feeling the same emotions as you were when your high school boyfriend broke up with you, So, but in that moment, we make so much out of it. So you've just got to question, why are you making so much out of all this stuff? Why are you making so much out of it? We're one of 8 billion beings on this planet. And, if you're spiritual, you probably believe in other dimensions and extraterrestrial planets and all sorts of stuff like that. So we're one of 8 billion on this planet. And then there's the animals, who I do believe have souls as well. So we've got all these fucking souls, okay? Who are you to think that? And it's not like, who are you to think this, but why are you making so much significance over what is not significant? It just really isn't. And if you don't trust me or believe me on that, let's have a look at a meditation practice that is going to give you a touch of what is infinite, what is unlimited abundance. Now, whether meditation's your cup of tea, whether you prefer to do plant medicine or whatever it may be, but all sorts of things. Sexual experiences can bring you to this. There's a whole lot of different things that can give you that glimpse of God as such. But if you get that glimpse of something greater than yourself, then it's very easy to call bullshit on what you find significant.
How much peace of mind do you find your clients and just yourself even and people gain when they do get to this stage of their practice, and they are able to see the world and really self-inquire to that point when things do come up, and really quickly identify that it is all bullshit? Peace of mind is one of the things that came to me in a big way, but what are some of the other things that you notice yourself and others attain from just being like this? Well, it's
a bit of a humor as well. Like, honestly, like it's a bit like, this actually came to me on a recent trip to Joshua Tree with some really good friends that we do CMB with. But I was it was quite funny. I was looking around and everybody was kind of in it, and it was kind of funny. I was looking around and watching everybody do their thing and Some people are a little bit uncomfortable about how they're sitting, and I was just noticing egos, right? I was noticing their egos and where their emotional state is and stuff like that. And then the reflection came back to myself, and I thought, fuck, here I am judging, doing the same fucking thing. None of this fucking matters. Like, none of this matters whatsoever. And it was just like the biggest drop of a fucking cosmic joke. And I think to be able to have that and just think, come on, does this really matter? Everything that I put so much significance on, I cry myself to sleep at night, I fucking worry, all this shit that I fucking worry about doesn't really matter. It is kind of insignificant, because one day I'm going to die, and then chances are I'm probably going to come back and do it again. So, that's why not get these lessons out of the way now, so I don't have to do it fucking next time. It's
so fucking freeing, man. When you have that, when you can let go of those attachments to all these things that once were really fucking significant and that had so much weight and charge too, and when you recognize that nothing fucking matters, really, then that's when you step into that your creator. You step into the power as a creator, because 0 fucks are given. You just get to do whatever the fuck you want. Aim big, because it doesn't matter. Face all the things that come up, because they don't matter. You can see the humor in almost everything, and the silver linings just fucking glisten all over the place.
Because it's a joke. I mean, let's have a look. Like, if you look down on an ant's nest with a microscope, and there was some poor ant running around worrying about how his life was, and then you zoom out and you see a billion ants. Like, wouldn't you think it's fucking hilarious that this little tiny ant is worrying about how his life is? You know what I mean? It's that insignificant. So it's look, I find these practices, they bring a lot of humor to certain things, and I find it a lot easier to move through. And it's just continually asking that question: all right, is this real? Is this really happening to me? Like, is it happening to me? And well, what's happening to me? But is me even real? So to whom are these thoughts occurring? Me? Not real. Yeah, I'm just a wave in the ocean that is one day just going to become the ocean again.
So is that the actual secret then?
The actual secret, what, like we talk about the secret, Rhonda, whatever her name is, secret book.
Yeah.
I think it's like, this is what I said when I'm working with, but and I really want to figure this out, because I've become a fucking magician if I do, or a wizard or something. But
when we do,
it's dissolving the time. It's like, I mean, if you understand that you are creating everything, and you believe that wholeheartedly, that you are creating everything, good, bad, everything, it becomes very easy to create things in life. You just got to match the vibration of what you want. And then I think the secret of the secret, okay, is being able to dissolve the time, okay, to somehow, because I still believe in time, you know what I mean? It's still a thing, okay? But if I can dissolve that concept of time in my mind, I should be able to bring things into my reality instantaneously, as long as I can match the vibration of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. One of the things that's come to me that really intrigues me is the practices, or the studies that have been done around particles, how when they're being observed, they form into what is being observed, and when they're not being observed, they can be in infinite places at one time. And so that's going back to if the tree falls and doesn't make a noise situation, well, no, it's not there. And it's a hard one to wrap your head around, but my understanding is that our all that exists is what we actually have right here in front of us. Because the car that I parked around the corner, essentially right now, because I can't see it and it's not right there in front of me, is in infinite places right now. Until I go out there and I actually observe it again, is when the particles form back to where my mind, and that's how we actually create. And so when we wake up every morning, it's that same habitual patterns that have been fed into us from when we were a baby, which we had no idea of what to expect when we came out. But that's where it all forms. And I think it's Joe Dispenza I was listening to recently talking about how we're basically in a hypnotic state for a lot of years, and that's when we're being conditioned for this world and this world around us. Okay, well, it's a good chat, Sam. Thanks for hanging out. Hang on, he'll jump back on. There we go. All right, so how dissolve time illusion? Yeah, good question. Timeless illusion. Does it matter? Why does it matter? Is saving other humans a good idea? Anyway, just had a little bit of a pee break, or?
Yes, sorry, mate. It's called the V factor.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really have a question on that. It's just was an interesting thought that came to me about what we were chatting about earlier. Unless you got something to add.
Yeah, look, I've seen some stuff with quantum physics around the same thing, and around everything's energy, and it's the vibration that it moves out which creates the form of the energy, down to the point where some quantum physicists are starting to question our physical appearance and whether our physical appearance has a lot to do with how we vibrate and how we vibrate as a human being, which is really interesting. I vibrate in a certain way because you portray or believe I have a certain energy. Really interesting, really, really interesting. But I mean, this can go down the rabbit hole for days. This conversation.
Yeah, true. So let's answer some of the questions that have been coming up. Is saving other humans a good idea? Should we interfere with someone's journey?
What was that?
Is saving
Whose
other
question was
humans? That was Valerie.
Yeah. Is saving other humans a good idea, or should we interfere with someone's journey? It's either or. The way I see it, it's either or. This is the thing. Can you hear me, Matt?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Look, is the thing. If you interfere with someone's journey, well, then that's just happened. So that's perfect. Like that happens. So but if you don't interfere with their journey, well, that happened, and that's also perfect. I don't know how else to explain it. It just is. Like,
okay,
I mean, if you make a decision.
So just to jump in, one of the presuppositions and beliefs I hold is that we always get what we need. And so that's it. Like, we always get what we need. And so to interfere with someone else's journey, they are a part of us. They're like, we are on the same journey together. Although seemingly, Sam, you're over in Vanuatu and I'm sitting here in Queensland, we're still a part of the same omnipresent consciousness, the omnipresent being. So although we feel like we're interrupting or interfering with others' journey, it's the same fucking thing. It's just the game. That's just buying back into the game. And I love how, I think it was even Jim Carrey, no, it was Alan Watts talking about it as a play, like a theatrical play that we're all in. And the universe is just an extreme theatrical play. And where actors sometimes take their parts too seriously, we oftentimes take our, holy fuck, there's a big possum, please don't jump on me. We take our parts too seriously. Hey, buddy. Say hello. He's just coming to watch. Got fans all over the place. It's all right. We take our part too seriously, and that's where that question comes into it, where let go of that, I guess, would be my advice. Let go of, am I right or wrong to jump into someone else's journey? You'll learn. Like, the worst case that will happen is you'll learn from it. Sorry, I got a bit distracted.
You're right. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I work on the pretense. I work on the pretense that everything's all perfect. So if it happens, for whatever reason, if my mind makes a decision that creates a series of actions and stuff like that, and then there's an outcome at the end of it, well, so what? It's perfect. That's, who am I to choose differently? It's all just part of it. And so do what feels right for you, Valerie. That's what I think.
And I think also with accepting that again, our conscious mind is really primitive playing this game in comparison to the whole fucking ocean, or that omnipresent consciousness of God consciousness, right? So sometimes we just got to go, I don't fucking know the answer, but it's perfect, and it's this is what's meant to be. Just because I can't see exactly what the path is right now, or because I can't see what's coming from it, or because I can't see the silver lining in this, that's okay. I'm okay with that, because I know there's something happening that's meant to be happening, and it's exactly as it's meant to be. And then just it's that process of letting go and just flowing with it.
Definitely. I mean, there is the idea of whatever you do must have an opposite and equal reaction, and that's also a thing around manifestation. You know what I mean? It's like, if you are manifesting something to have a lot of, the rules of the universe say that there must be a lack in somewhere else. And then I'm not talking about a lack in your life, but something else may lack because of it. Now, we see this in the world quite clearly with, large industries and the government and all sorts of stuff like that. But we're going way down the rabbit hole. We're meant to make this call simple.
Yeah, we were. All right. So one last thing I want to touch on as well. Where are we at? All right. We've done well. Is just the attachment to the spiritual concept. So there's, like you said at the start, there's people that go and get their tarot card readings. There's people that hold on to 101 crystals that do all these different things that are going to bring them hope, luck, and all this sort of stuff. So is there anything around that you can debunk, or that you'd like to touch on, or that can touch on? Because, to start with.
Look, for me, it's just, like, in all seriousness, we've gone down lots of different little rabbit holes in different places here, but for me, spirituality is about the turn within. Okay, it's looking within to find stuff. Now, unfortunately, when we're continually searching outward, okay, for information, outward for gratification, outward for anything, okay, it's turning outward, and it's see, once again, this is hard to explain, because I know when I'm interested in meditation, there is a fucking strong pull within. There is, and it's nearly a body crippling pull within, and that feels real, and that feels right, and that feels like it feels like peace. And now, unfortunately, so that's my dog. Can you hear that?
Yeah, only a little bit. Yeah, I can hear you more. Sounds like he's got something there.
He's having a dream.
Awesome.
He's having a dream.
He's going within.
Yeah, he is. No, look, I really think it's just, for us, it's just about going within and not looking externally. And unfortunately, spirituality has become about the next course, buying the next thing. And look, fuck, I bought it hook, line, and sinker. What have I got here? I've got fucking crystal, all these crystals here. I've got some fucking shamanic feather and all this sort of bullshit. I got beads and crystals around my neck. You know what I mean? I mean, it's very hard not to buy into this stuff, but the nature of it is we don't need anything. What we actually need to be is naked, and that was the analogy we had at the beginning. Just take the fucking clothes off, take everything off, and stand there naked. And it's not about searching for anything. It's about actually taking your clothes off and getting back to who you really are. And take the fucking skin suit off, take the name off, take the Matty B show off, and the Sam Lewis entrepreneur, take all that off, and what's left behind that is the truth. Yeah.
Beautiful, brother. I like it. And we have gone down many rabbit holes that it's hard not to. But I like where we've gone, and I like the concepts that we brought up. I don't know if anyone has kept up or what people have taken from it. I trust that it's perfect, obviously. And if guys, you want to catch up with Sam and have a chat further, then reach out, and with me as well. Same as. We're going to be holding our nudist retreats every Sunday on the beach. So come to join us. Really just, I guess, do start that practice of self-inquiry. And fuck, man, the letting go, like we said, it's a moment to moment practice of flowing in and out of the game, playing the game. It's okay to be there. It's perfect to play the game and to be caught up and to be the ego. And it's okay to practice and strengthen that muscle with that self-inquiry.
Yeah. And I think, and I mean, to finish up, perfect what you said then. And I think the spiritual practice should be to continually question whether it is ego. And this is, as we mentioned before, the trap in spirituality is you can get involved in this spirituality and the ego around it can be disguised. It can be disguised behind spirituality, and you're not even knowing that it is spirituality. That's one of the dangerous things. And that's why I like the practice of inquiry. It's just continually asking and calling yourself on bullshit. Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, spirituality, I'm going to get off this, and we've just dumped a whole lot of information and stuff like that. I'm going to get off and just tell myself that everything I said was bullshit, basically, because it was. Yeah,
man. Can you just one last thing as well, which so true. That that's why I love you. Can't bullshit a bullshitter. I asked you a question earlier about your dad because you said he has meditated for hours and days at a time, and the question was like, how long do you expect to be in that state? Because from what I've gathered from our conversation and my own experiences is that this is ego. Every time we wake up and we do anything, we go to take a piss or eat some food or have a conversation with someone, it's in our ego state, which is this game that we're living. So it's about accepting it, owning it, and just being in it. But when you do meditate and you do get a taste of that omnipresent state of being, and you can soak up that knowing, how long can someone expect to be there and really experience that for? Or what have you experienced as well?
From my experience in meditation, I get glimpses of it. When I mean glimpses, and this is where it becomes timeless. So this glimpse could be 10 seconds, it could be a millisecond. It's kind of a glimpse. It's until the brain catches it. Yeah. As soon as the brain catches that you're in this state, that state fucking it dissipates straight away. Now I noticed that through meditating like an hour a day that I get glimpses of it. And this is what I'm saying, that hour a day is enough to get enough glimpses of it for me to understand this. Now, someone who's spending 10 hours a day in meditation are obviously going to have prolonged glimpses of it. Now, my dad's very much from the old school where he likes to, if he's going to go down that road, he likes to go into silence for a while. He stops talking. He says that really quietens his ego. Just not hearing his own voice. And he goes in quietness, and he says, there has been times where he's been in a prolonged state of peace. Okay, look, you call it enlightenment if you want, but it's just such a shit word for it. A prolonged state of peace for around about 3 months. And that's what people call enlightenment. So you've got to understand with this, enlightenment is not, it's not a level. It's just when your mind goes away. It's when all the chit chat and all the clatter goes away and you're left with what is not the mind, what is present, what is always there. And when you live with what is always there, then you're enlightened. And so there was a question, somebody asked me, I think Valerie, silly question, are you enlightened? Do I look or act enlightened? Have I been enlightened before? Yeah. Yes. And that might have been for a millisecond or 10 seconds, I don't know. But there was a glimpse of that. But am I enlightened? Fuck no. Like Eckhart Tolle, he's not enlightened. He had an experience and he went through that and he wrote a fucking brilliant book off the back of that experience. But he's not continually enlightened. And this is how I think it needs to be explained, because enlightenment, and this is when I talk about it with the Sanskrit words, there are words which mean fully realized. Like there was like me and my father follow, and Ramana Maharshi, and the people say that he was fully realized. He was continually in a state of enlightenment. So
one thing I want to share is my experience with meditation since I started. It had a pretty profound effect on my intuition. I think that's where some people maybe get a little bit confused with it, because I went from completely lost to, through meditation, just being a lot more self-assured in my intuition and being able to trust my sort of inner guidance system a lot more. And the more that I do tap into that space and do allow my mind to quieten, when I am back in the game and living day to day, the more I meditate, the more prolonged, I guess, the period that my intuition is just on point and on cue, and that not giving a fuckery of the day to day is just easily washed off. So I think for me, that's probably the biggest effect that I've actually seen from quietening the mind and being in that mode of self-inquiry, and just, closing off the ego to nothingness for a little while and tapping into that space. Do you find that, or?
I think we've all got it. Like, we've all got this intuition, but the mind fucking clogs it all up. The mind fucks it up, and we seem to go with the mind decision opposed to what's actually coming through us, or what's coming from, essentially, from our heart. So and definitely meditation seems to quiet the mind, which there's more quiet time for this intuition as such to come through. So definitely. And I noticed that as well. Like, you definitely get in tune, and just, people talk about being empaths and stuff like that. I did definitely get more, I'm not empathetic, so I can't say that, but become more of an empath and start to understand emotions. I have a higher emotional IQ because of it. But then on the same turn, this is funny. Then on the same turn, I have very little empathy for people's bullshit. I'll be straight with you. I have very little empathy for people's bullshit because I just see it as part of the game.
But that doesn't mean you're not empathetic. You can. Not at all. You don't have to empathize with people's bullshit. You can empathize with certain things.
Yeah, not at all. No.
Yeah.
I'm just reflecting what my missus tells me.
Yeah. You're a good guy. Don't listen to it, man. It's not true what they say.
Animals make me cry. That's it. Like, I cry a lot about animals, but humans I don't give a fuck about. It's a funny thing.
I'm an animal.
Yeah.
Awesome, bro. Well, let's wrap it up. I know you've got a life to lead, and as long as we could stay here for hours and hours and dive down many rabbit holes, but mate, am I the first one that did I pop your cherry with your new setup, or have you been cheating on me with someone else first since you got it?
Not even, no, because fuck, I can't even use it. Like, I can't even use it. So because I'm on the phone, I'm using like honestly, like, sexy ass fucking microphone. Look at that shit, and then like nice ring light and everything. It's fucking unreal. And then I bought this as well, just to make me feel good about myself. That sits on my desk.
Brilliant, motherfucker. Yes. Awesome. I love it.
So if that's not part of the ego, I don't know what is. So, but no, we can't even use it when we do this sort of thing. So tell Facebook to get this shit together, right. So you can do it from.
Are you going to be joining me on stage in the States at all for this Hippiepreneur tour that's coming up? Because this is basically the messages that we're going to be sharing.
Potentially. Let's talk. Let's definitely talk. So, I mean, I enjoyed this conversation, and I enjoy the conversation with you. So, but yeah,
I love you, brother.
But I do have a fiance and a life and all that sort of stuff. You just want to roam around in a caravan as a single man. That's not going to work for me. So
there's places that, no, it's not, we're going to be, we'll chat.
We'll chat. Can I plug Man Cave? Do you mind if I do that?
Yeah, man, absolutely. 100%.
You can say no. Cool.
No.
Just for any guys that are listening. Cool. Any guys listening, I'm part of a program called, or a group of men, a group of coaches from around the world called Conscious Man Brotherhood. We run a program called Man Cave. That's a 3-month online program where we basically online sit around the fire and talk out our shit as men. One of the most transformational things I've done, if you are interested, because we're taking applications now, just send me a direct message, hit us up. Maddie, you should get in this as well, by the way. But hit us up, send us a direct message, and we can give you a small discount code on it as well. So any men on the call, I don't know if there are any men, or if there's any women who would like your men to have a space where they can talk out their shit, because unfortunately, very few men. There we go, Joe. Joe's been in Man Cave. Yes, Man Cave. So there you go. So, that's my plug for Man Cave.
and just to add on to that as well, because I do have mainly or a lot of women that follow this as well. Like, one of the chats we had with Kelly the other day was about this, and just about how men and women, they need to find people that are going through similar stuff to shed what's going on, so it doesn't, so that your partner isn't wearing all the hats in your life that you need. And so having other groups like these men groups, and women, you guys go and find women's groups, actually connect with me if you want to find one as well. Having these people that you can rely on and lean on and share experiences with and learn from, and going through these shared experiences, it really does invigorate and leave space within your relationships to grow and blossom and prosper, because you're not like, it just takes weight off each other, and it allows you guys to fill that space with that love and with that connection and with that intimacy, instead of filling it with the space, with the information and with those activities of trying to overcome certain things where we're just not equipped to do as partners sometimes, and it needs someone else that's going through that same experience to be shared and just go through. So yeah, employ all you girls that have got partners as well to connect your partners with Lewis as well, with Sam as well, and introduce them to the Man Cave, because everyone that I've connected with who's been through it, all the guys that are leading it, they're just a level up. They're doing really amazing work, and I'm really keen to be a part of it and just be a part of their lives, let alone actually joining the Man Cave, which I will be doing before too long as well. So yeah, thank you, man, for sharing.
Use my code. So
What's your code?
now, look, 100% Sam Cave 150. But use my code.
Sam
anyway. We'll talk about this later. But yeah, look, we use a thing in Man Cave, or it's a little slogan: iron sharpens iron, and it's definitely true. Like, when you put a bunch of men in a space, we go there, and we wouldn't go like, we can talk about violence and all sorts of stuff that come up for men that we just would not feel safe around, if there was women in that space. So I think it's very powerful, and the same for women. I'm sure women talk about some women shit that I don't want to know about when men aren't around. So I think it's very important that these circles happen around the world, and
yeah,
they do. So anyway, thanks for listening.
It's all perfect.
It is all perfect.
Yeah, man. Thank you for listening, guys. Appreciate it. Sam, thanks for jumping on, sharing your words of wisdom again. And mate, you're racking up the episodes on the Daily B. So I think the most appearances is 4, mate. So you've got a few more to catch up.
I'll photobomb them. I'll say, but no, I've done so many this week. I'm a bit over. No more for the rest of the week, which is Friday. So that's all right. So, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for having us on. It's been fun, Matty, as always. And I'm sure we'll speak soon offline.
No shit. Take it easy, guys. Enjoy.
Peace, brother.